We're talking about everything having to do with your home. And what I was doing at the break was I was standing up and waving something about how to not price your home. So I'll finish that. What you owe this is how you don't price it. It's not based on what you owe or what you need to pay it off, how much you invested in the property, what Zillow says it's worth, the tax value, what your neighbor sold for, what your home is worth, plus room to negotiate like a used car, a number that the agent tells you to make you happy, or what it'll be worth if certain things happen like a zombie apocalypse. That is not how you price it. Here's what you need to consider. Realtors are not appraisers. We do not set the market, we interpret the market. If you did 2 appraisals right now, they would not match. I don't care who the appraisers were, unless they were like bipolar. All right, so how long is an appraisal good for?
The day.
How long is an inspection good for?
The day of the inspection.
Exactly. So remember, you get an appraisal, it's good for uno day, one.
Those things
Ein.
change. Things change.
That's German. Okay. How does your home compare to the others in the neighborhood? So when I look at comparables like this morning on a listing appointment that I was on, I print out the pictures of each of the listings that sold so I can look at them. Since they've already been sold, I can't walk through them unless they're under contract, and see, or active, and compare them and make sure that we're talking apples to apples. It's not just what's on the outside of the square footage, it's also what's on the inside.
And how it's been updated and stuff.
Exactly. And days on market. That is a huge predictor of price and time of year. If it's a school play, it's, Becca, March to July, right?
Absolutely.
You know, it's always a great time to sell. Okay, so do you think it's a good time of year to sell right now?
Yes.
Less competition.
Yes, exactly. I was telling friends this morning, so if your home gets shown right now, it's with a real person. It's with somebody that's got to move. They ain't playing. They want to see it, and they want to see it for a reason.
Right.
So Preston, right now, this time of year, I'm guessing your volume is down a little bit in home inspections. Your primary months are running pretty parallel to mine.
Yeah.
But your business is still pretty darn active right now.
Oh, yeah. We had a big day yesterday.
I had 4 closings Friday. I mean,
Wow.
it's busy.
Yeah, we had like 24 inspections yesterday. So
That's pretty darn good for a Friday.
Yeah, that's a good day. Yeah, usually Friday's actually, Monday's usually the big day, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, really? All the stuff that went under contract
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday?
You can almost predict it too. When it's a really nice weekend weather-wise, everybody's out looking at houses. If it's like really icky, it's like, oh man, it's home and ring on Monday.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things, Preston, while I have you here, I want to make sure our listeners understand. One of the services that you offer is Radon.
Yes.
Why in the world would somebody do Radon?
Well, radon is the number 1 cause of lung cancer in smokers. The number 2 cause, for non-smoke. I mean, did I get that backwards? But anyway, it's the number 2 cause of lung cancer behind smoking. I might have accidentally messed it up, but
well, you said it was in smokers. So I imagine that smoking would be the number 1 for a smoker.
1 in 2.
Just saying. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But 1 in 15 houses have high radon, and the only way to know is to test. It's actually a big part of Realtor CE this year. You're probably going to see almost, I would say, more than half the people would check. And it's like $175. Why wouldn't you if there's a 1 in 15 chance your house has high radon? I mean, get the peace of mind. And if it does, you can get a radon mitigation system. They're not terribly expensive. They're about $1,500, and as long as they're maintained, they do a really good job. It's a manageable problem.
Yeah. 704-570-1110 if you want to talk to Preston or myself or Greg or Rebecca. We're all here to talk about your real estate, so give us a call. So in the going back to the inspection, and I think I'll leave the rest of the pricing stuff behind, other than the fact that just make sure you look at the data know
Right.
the neighborhood and work with somebody that understands how to price a house.
Sure.
Just doesn't wanna make you happy. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. We call it in the business buying a listing, to get their sign in your yard with their high school picture on it. I mean, and, you know, and pray that somebody calls. That is not how you do real estate at all.
But then doesn't it wind up a lot of days on the market, like you said, if it's priced wrong, and then that is one of the
Blemishes.
biggest blemishes there is.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
Yeah.
National Association of Realtors says if you do not get a showing in 2 weeks, or you do not get an offer after 10 showings, you're priced too high.
Wow.
Lower it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Preston, back to the home inspection. Right now, this time of year,
Mm-hmm.
what are a couple of the most common, I think I already know the answer, but what is one of the most common issues you are seeing on these reports as we come into the fall?
Well, you've got a change of season, so a lot of, believe it or not, when the season changes, windows, you know, if they're those dual pane windows, the ones that face south, you know, you get those fogged windows, or the seal breaks, broken seal, you know, but the good news is they're usually on a 10-year warranty. So if your windows are less than 10 years old, that's a big thing. People firing up their furnace for the first time. Sometimes if they've got a cracked heat exchanger or something like that, because it went from hot to cold, you know, and if you have a carbon monoxide detector, you should be able to tell that. And one of the other big things is, you know, if people don't clean their gutters or whatnot, they're going to have some damage around the fascia and soffit boards, because the water can't drain properly, and it just goes into the fascia and soffit boards and that sort of thing.
I just figured in the gutters, after the plants and everything that are in them die, and the trees and stuff kind of go down, that, you know. It's a little.
I seen somebody who had the Christmas tree up early in their gutter, rolling. You gonna
They have
decorate
lights
that?
on it.
Yeah, you gonna decorate that?
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, I've seen more trees in gutters lately. It's kind of a bit bizarre. So, I got a question earlier that said, if my drop, the price, does my commission drop? Well, absolutely it
Yeah.
does. You know, because the price of your house went down, my commission goes down.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely. Not in percentage, only in
Value.
calculation.
Yeah, I mean, a realtor's not
Yeah.
trying to not sell your house for more. They're trying to sell your house at the proper price.
All right, so, you know, let's talk about value for a minute. You said the word, Becca, right?
Mhm.
So, don't you think, from Preston's perspective, everything we've talked about today has a value related to it? Like Chris/George called earlier about. He said, you know, there's a value to him
Mhm.
in having that, and a value to the potential buyer, right? To us, a home sells when a buyer sees its value, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Or they choose us based on the fact that they see our value.
Right.
So, all of this stuff we're talking about is a place where the communication of the listing, the communication of the report, the tool,
Mhm.
the inspection, whatever, has to have value. When it has value, good things happen. When it doesn't have value, ain't nothing.
Nothing happens.
You know?
Crickets.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where I get frustrated when a home gets multiple offers. 5 groups come in, they see its value, they write the offer. Then the person walks away for whatever reason, maybe good reason, maybe not good reason.
Mhm.
And then irregardless of that,
That
it's
house is
value.
tainted.
It has a, and so, I have a thing that I use, a communication tool that I use,
Okay.
that basically talks about helping to make sure buyers, prospective buyers, and other realtors understand what happened
Okay.
and why.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've come to the conclusion that people don't know unless you tell them.
Yeah.
So if the
Communications
home
key.
has value, we have a thing, not a thing, we have a placard we put in homes now called Good to Know. That talk about value things that unless I was standing there, I couldn't tell you.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, this whole pre-inspection conversation, Preston,
Mhm.
we wouldn't know unless you came out here and told us about all this stuff that was going on and really explained what the value proposition was. And
Right.
I appreciate that you did that.
And Zillow can't do that. They've never been in that house.
How much time I got, George? 20 seconds?
About 20 seconds, yeah.
Okay. Becca and Greg, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And Preston, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a great partner to Jameson. If you want to reach Preston, 704-542-6575 or hicarolina.com, right?
Home Inspection Carolina.
Oh, I do HI Carolina all the time. I
Well,
still
that's
get you.
email. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I also have InspectorFancyPants.com.
Oh,
I do.
I'm Paul Jameson, your host. 846-846-3663. Thanks for being with us. The show Your Real Estate Today. God bless. We'll see you next week.
I bought Inspector Fancy Pants and Inspector Crazy Pants. It just points back to my site. It's pretty fun when you can tell people that.
I don't remember it.
I was gonna say, you remember that.
You are the fancy.